Hello there, everyone. You are listening to SevHeads, the unofficial Severance recap podcast with myself, Fionnuala, and the lovely David Hammond. How are you?
What's going on? How are we? Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Happy post episode 4.
Yes. Sorry we're a bit late for this episode, but we needed time to digest.
Truly.
Wow.
Yelled a couple of times, as I said to you in text.
Yeah. There was one very specific moment where I yelled as well, and I was like, God, I was glad no one was around.
Truly.
But yeah, fantastic episode, and let's get into it.
Okay. So Irv wakes up. He's on some kind of ice plane. He has come into his innie on this plane of ice, and naturally he is like, what the fuck, where am I? How am I in Lapland?
Yeah.
I should be in work. Doesn't know what's going on. Yeah. Mark is on a cliff above him and he's like, come up here. We need to figure this out. Whatever, come up. And Irv meets Helly on the way up. And immediately there again, because they've had this interesting relationship since coming back after OTC, where he seems to have been he's a little sus of her.
I'm only seeing that after, like, people have been putting clips online and been like, oh, look at his face when she says this. Like, remember in like episode 1 where he's like, we're with you. She says, we're with you, Irving, or something, or like, we have your back or something. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. But then someone was like, did you see Irv's face when she said that? It was like, he knows. He knows. She knows.
And I know she knows.
But my first initial question watching this episode, where we see Irving on the ice and we see Mark up there, is this happening before or after Mark's reintegration?
Yeah,
because that's where we left off.
Sorry, this episode is nuts because obviously the previous episode, Mark's on a table and he's like, do you mean quarter? And he's like, blah, blah, blah. And Gabby's poking around at him or whatever. Yeah. And now we're on a Christmas holiday with them. Do you know? Like, it's just
there's
nuts.
a lot of jumping forward and back in this season.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, I don't know where we are. But obviously, now, having said that, we are obviously post-reintegration because of Helly. You know what I mean? Like, we left Helly knowing or thinking. Yeah. Now we know. Do you know?
But it's just hard to know in terms of the timeline of, like, actual time, as you said.
Is it the day after, is it?
Yeah. It's weird. We're thrown all over the place. Another thing that I did not pick up on in terms of the Irv being sus of Helly thing that I've only learned now, obviously based on this episode and the 1,000 TikToks that I've watched since. This version of Helly / Elna always calls him Irving.
Irving.
Yeah.
I noticed the same thing. It's weird. And
very weird.
But it may be a little bit uneasy, but then I was like, has she always called him Irving?
Yeah, because this is the thing. I'm like, I don't have my clipboard out with every time she called him Irving, every time she called him Irv.
Yeah.
I need a TikToker to do that and then I will co-opt that information. But until then.
And that is my own research and my own opinions.
Truly. Oh, sorry. The reason why he's sus is when he's on the way up with Helly, he's like, where did you wake up? And she's like, don't know. He's like, okay, bit weird.
Where did you come from? I don't know. What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do you mean, girly?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
But like, I also feel like if she should... I'm going to jump forward and back in this episode, but I feel like she should have answers ready.
Yeah.
She's going to have questions.
I'm like, Helena, you're being a bit of a flop sleeper spy.
Yeah.
But that's because she's obsessed with Mark. She's forgetting the purpose of like why she didn't let real Helly go back in. You know what I mean? Because she
wants a bit.
She wants a bit. She wants a bit.
Girls gotta eat.
Girls gotta eat. Girls gotta eat. They end up going up, like climbing this cliff face. And you know what I thought at this point? I was like, is this the mountain that video game Kier flies off as an eagle in the game when they complete 100% of a file?
I think it is. And the reason I think it is at the start of the episode, we get the recap. And it was like, it's like previously on Severance. But it wasn't like, you know what I mean? It wasn't Mark's reintegration that was showing in the recap. It was like Irv and Bert looking at a picture of Kier on top of a mountain. And Bert says, I don't actually care for this one. And they realize, he says, I don't either. I just think Kier is going to fall and slip or something because he's on the top of the mountain.
Because he's worried about him.
He's worried about Kier.
I should have watched that. I was like, skip. Play, skip.
So yeah, it was. I'm also thinking. I can't even remember. I must have skipped through the theme tune and stuff because
no, there was no Mark on the bed with the babies running around the place.
Why was that? Why not?
I don't know. Good question. And it was a question they did not answer on the official Severance podcast, so I also don't have an answer.
Interesting. Okay, fair enough. You listened to that. How was that?
Good. Again, it was interesting to get the behind the scenes of them filming, because they don't use like a lot of special effects. Like, it's all shot in like the office lot, but with this one they were on location for weeks. And some
Where
of
was
the locations, they said, but I can't remember.
Okay.
But they said some of the places where they went to, like the cave, which we'll get to, you actually had to hike to get there.
Right.
So now it was like a 30-minute hike, nothing like insane.
Not
But
crazy.
also, if you're thinking of the crew carrying cameras and stuff, demented. And then because of, they were talking about how like climate change and stuff, it was hard to get places with like actual snow, and like that it was consistently kind of snowy.
Yeah, I'd
and
imagine the
and they
weather.
shot things kind of out of order because of the snow melting and stuff.
Okay.
It's good listen. I would recommend.
I will. I'll go
And
back and
Theodore Shapiro's on it, who does the music. The music is so good in this episode. It's
it's always 10 out of 10.
good.
So good.
They're at the top of the mountain, and Dylan wakes up, and this is Dylan's first experience being outside, which he says, and he's like talking about whether he thought there was going to be a ceiling or not, and he's
That's
like,
funny.
he's enthused, and you can tell obviously. I was about to say the other three, but it's probably the other two, obviously, because they've been outside before. I thought it was interesting that they knew what like ice was. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
there's other things that happen later where they're like
What's
fascinated by certain things like fire and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, how did you know what ice was, but you didn't know what fire was?
It is a little bit pick and choosy, isn't it? Like what they're amazed by and what they don't know at all, or what they do know. Did you think anything about Dylan in this episode?
Did I think anything about Dylan in this episode? I don't really think so. Why? Are you thinking things about Dylan?
No, nothing crazy or anything, and I don't think this means anything.
Brilliant.
I just noticed that I think he might have talked, say, about 15 times, right? He might have had 15 lines. 2 of them he didn't curse in. Every single time he was like, "What the fuck? Fuck off! Fuck you! What the fuck?" I was like, "What is going?" It's like, I thought, it's not like I'm a prude or anything. I'm not like, "Oh God, what's with all this cursing?" I'm not like that. I'm just like, what is going on? It's like Dylan's character has just figured out how to curse.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you were a kid and you found out what fuck was? And you were like, "I'm going to use it all the fucking time." Do you know, this is fucking great.
Maybe he's just feeling particularly rebellious.
He was so rebellious. I was like, calm down.
For someone who was kind of very nervous previous episode that we saw.
Yeah.
You know?
I just
Worried about losing his
thought it was
privileges.
interesting, and I was sitting there. Oh, by the way, full disclosure, my notes were taken while I was like locked.
Okay.
I watched the episode and then went out and then came home and watched it again and then took my notes. So my notes may be a little bit wild.
Really intrigued to hear Drunk David's thoughts on this all. This is going to be really good. Okay, so they're at the top of the mountain. Where are they? It turns out that they're at Dieter Egan National Park because they get to the top of the mountain and there is this DVD player that basically informs them that they are on an Ortbo, which is an outdoor
retreat and team building occurrence.
outside retreat team building occurrence. Outdoor retreat team building occurrence. Sorry, I did write it down, yes. They're there and Milchick is on this video explaining that they're off to do this as a reward and also to acknowledge the fact that their innies want out, like that they want to see the outside world. So he's like, okay, you're going to go do this then and you're going to go explore this park. You need to go find this book that's actually banned on the severed floor that's about Dieter Egan, because they've also never heard of Dieter Egan. They're like, who the hell is Dieter Egan?
Sorry to go kind of a little bit left of field again. Lumon confuses the hell out of me. For a company that doesn't want, hit their innies to have any answers really, and also they don't want them to have questions. They have a lot of freedom. What bringing them on a school tour is a little bit like, are you kind of feeding them to, like, are you kind of like putting them in a situation where bad things could happen? And later on, it does happen.
Well, yeah, but I wonder, are they, when this was all kind of playing out, and again, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but when it was playing out, I was like, okay, are they doing this deliberately to like split them apart? You know what I mean? To like deliberately cause division? Or to go back to your point, was it a thing of, this will like scratch an itch for them and they'll learn more lore about, the what Lumon does and like Keir Egan and stuff like that, and they'll be kind of bolstered by that while not giving them too much freedom because, potentially there's a mole in their ranks overseeing it all in the form of Helena as Helly.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I take your point. It does just seem like, why would you not just leave them in the office?
Yeah, and also like when they're in the office, they have free roam of the hallways to go and find the goat people and to go and do all these things where you're like, if you don't want them to have any questions or answers, you should probably stop letting them do shit.
Yeah.
I just think they've too much freedom.
They do have way too much freedom. Also, sorry, this is such a terrible team building exercise or school tour or trip. Like,
grim.
It's so grim.
Yeah, no, this is grim. It's like me in 4th class when they took us to a bog. And just like walk through.
I never got to go to a bog.
Did you not?
Sad, yeah.
Yeah, no, we were brought to a bog and was like, this is what turf is. And we were like, okay.
Okay.
Right.
And moving on. It was like when they go to the box factory in The Simpsons. Incredible. No, as Cork people, we were it was strictly Foda and Trabolgan.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
good.
I think we did go to Aquadome one year. But is Aquadome the one in Kerry? Which is the one in Kerry? Is that still open?
I don't know.
Sorry, I've totally taken this to a different place.
I've never heard
anyway.
of Aquadome. We had the NAC.
Oh yeah. See, it's Leinster privilege once again. Okay, so he's on about this book and he basically tells them that they need to go to this place. So I think they're in Deidre National Park and they need to find their way to Woe's Hollow, isn't it? That's what they're told.
That's the whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's basically like this kind of treasure hunt. So they have to go to Scissor Cave as well, which is what Milchick says is the very same cave where Egan tamed the 4 tempers. If you can't remember what the 4 tempers are, don't worry, neither did I googled them. It's Woe, Frolic, Dread and Malice. Yeah. And there are a lot of theories around the 4, like Helly, Mark, Dylan and Irv representing the 4 tempers.
Yeah, there's also when we see any of the 4 of them working and putting the numbers into the bins on the screen, that actually those bins represent the Woe and the Frolic and all that kind of stuff.
Interesting. So then they see someone on the cliff and it looks like Mark, but it's not Mark. Because Milchick is like, you'll have hints along the way, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, it's like they've taken the group photo and like transposed it onto kind of like a rubber doll or something, but it is like very human. Like, what do you think is going on there? Bearing in mind that they have said
they
that
don't
it's not
do clones. They have said that.
Yeah,
but like I'd say,
Ben Stiller has said it's not clones.
But like the reason I think he had to say that is because of this episode.
Okay.
Because people are just go wild.
Yeah.
And people still go wild. People don't know that Ben Stiller has actually said that this is...
Well, I'm telling you all now, Ben Stiller said it.
No, people don't know that.
Daddy Ben said it. Yeah. There are no clones.
So, well, like, what are those things then?
I don't know. They're so freaky. It's shot so well because the camera is so far away that you can't see their detail. It's like your mind is able to put in, because you recognise Mark's face and you recognise the picture. But like you're not close enough. And some of the later dolls, which we'll get to, they all kind of have versions of themselves that they see along the path.
Yeah.
Some of them don't look like them at all.
No, but I think they're like PlayStation 1 graphics, aren't they? It's
yeah.
Like they're not rendered.
Oh, very haggard PS1.
Very haggard PS1. That's exactly what I thought. So yeah, they're just not rendered or something. And I was like, why aren't they going up to them?
Yeah.
Like if I saw I would be like, oh, I know we need to go to Woe's Hollow.
Will we investigate this and see what it is?
Let's go have a look. Yeah. You know?
Oh, we'll have a look. Of course we'll have a look. Oh my word, that's my fave. Okay, this kind of brings me to something, and maybe we're slightly skipping ahead, but with this whole excursion that they're going on and then being in this place, it begs the question, how do they get the outies to this plain of ice and mountains and stuff? Sorry, I just spat everywhere. But how do they get them to there? Which begs the question, do we think they're actually at a real place, or is this some kind of simulation / computer game? Because as well, if we go back to PD's map, there is a section of the office that is dedicated for team building.
Okay, interesting.
There's an area for team building. So is this just, I don't know if I fully believe like it's VR, they're in a simulation, but like there's a part of me that believes more that it's like a controlled environment, set, that they're not actually outside. But I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think it's a good theory. The only reason I disagree with it is the biggest thing that happens in this episode wouldn't have been that dangerous. Would never have happened in a control. They wouldn't have been worried. They wouldn't have been worried because it was a simulation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting theory, and it would kind of go with like why the other characters, the little twins or the clones or whatever, even though Ben Stiller said it's not clones, weren't rendered, you know?
Yeah.
It would be like a simulation, potentially. But I did wonder this as well. I was like, did Outie Irving walk onto the middle of the ice? Was he told, go to the middle of there? And then, boom, you're...
But why would he do that when he's so sus on the outside as well?
That's
you know
what
what I mean?
But it makes no sense. How did he get there? He woke up with no one else around. He must have walked in. He must have walked straight into the middle of the ice as an Outie Irv.
Well, then, maybe again, jumping ahead, classic. Do we think he might be reintegrated as well?
Something's going on with Irv. But do you remember I said that I think he's been severed twice?
Yeah.
So someone thinks that... Someone online had a theory that Irv actually might have been the architect for the Lumon building.
Okay.
And that maybe he's a double agent or something, I don't know. But if he was the architect, it would make sense that he knows about the red arrow down elevator.
Yeah.
And the black hole.
Okay.
Because he's never seen that. His Outie's never seen that. And his Innie has never seen that.
Yeah.
So why would he be drawing it? And why would he be dreaming of it? So that's why I think either he was the architect and he designed and that's why he knows, or he's been reintegrated twice. Okay. Or he's not severed twice.
Interesting. Let's come back to that. So they see this Mark doll. Sorry, I have written down as well. They're all dressed in this like black fur, long coats, like this kind of period fashion and like fur hats.
Is it Russian?
Kind of giving that vibe, yeah. But I did have written down that I was telling my kids that this was E17.
Yeah.
It just any of the pictures of them all in the fur, like in the furs and stuff and everything. I was like, these pics just go so hard.
Yeah,
they look so good.
Very good.
Irv does not trust Milchek, and he says that after the video because they're all like, "Well, we just have to follow this doll." And Irv is again the kind of first time where you're really seeing him. Like he's been on this path of
destruction
and like disillusionment with the company. But like he's really like, I don't trust him. I don't trust him in video form. I don't trust him in real life.
He calls him a mountebank.
What's a mountebank? I didn't Google that word.
I wouldn't trust a word out of that mountebank's mouth. A mountebank is a person who deceives others, especially in order to trick them out of their money. I don't know if it's
naughty
money, but I think it's just a way of saying he's a liar. He deceives people.
He doesn't trust them, yeah. So they're hiking away, whatever. They eventually come across a Helly doll or a Helly clone or a Helly puppet, whatever, unrendered PS1 graphics of Helly. And she points them in the direction of a cave. This is Scissor Cave, and they come across a book that has Book 4 written on it. I think it's Book 4.
Yeah.
And it basically tells this story of Kier's twin called Dieter. They loved each other. They were obsessed with each other. Dieter, for some reason, took a notion that he wanted to like go away and live in the woods. And Kier was like, weird, but okay, I love my brother. We'll go on ahead. And then there's this map that essentially brings them to Woe's Hollow to kind of continue the story.
Yeah. Someone
shared a theory with me about this book that has blown my mind. Obviously, in the last episode, we saw Rickon talking about meeting Natalie about writing a version of the Who You Are for the Innies.
Yes.
Do we think he might have written this book?
Oh.
I need to read the message, but it was my friend Aaron sent it to me, and he had such a good point about it. But he
kind
said
of does self-help books as opposed to stories.
He doesn't do fiction. Yeah, that is fair. So he said, Rickon wrote the book, surely. He's on the Lumon payroll now, I feel, after F3. And then I said, oh my God. And then he said the next chapter was literally called The Thieving Nanny. Remember Cobell? And they thought she took the fucking Baba.
Yes, The Thieving Nanny.
That was the only reason why. I thought that was interesting.
That's very good.
I think Rickon would write anything if the money was good and he thought it meant that he'd be getting his message out there in some ways.
I don't think Rickon gives a shit about money. I think he just wants fame.
Fame, yeah.
And even if it comes in the form of an innie.
Yeah. Anyway, one to ponder. They walk along, they're going to Woe's Hollow and they meet a Dylan doll. This is the doll that doesn't look like Dylan.
Yeah.
Like this really, it's vaguely looks like Dylan.
Yeah.
But doesn't.
They didn't put in too much effort.
No.
It's
very
quite
weird.
NPC like in a video game.
Yeah.
And that like someone on a boat that you're not really supposed to go that far out of the map.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like, you're too far.
Yeah.
Come back. You're just hitting wall on sea. Do you know, there's an opening shot in this sequence as well where it's like tree branches and they're all covered in ice.
They look like hands.
They look like hands.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So good.
Yeah, little icicles and stuff, yeah.
They're walking along. Mark asks Helly if she's okay, and she says she wishes she knew where they were going. And you see Irv watching this, and Irv looks like he's a little bit jealous. Irv is a bit like, what the fuck's going on with them?
Yeah.
You know?
I wondered that myself. Did I think that he was jealous, or did I think that he was worried for Mark? Did I think he was just... I don't know if he was... Maybe it's a bit of both.
I don't think he's fully jealous because he's not that simple of a character. I think he's like so worried, so distrusting of everything. I think he cares about Mark and knows that is still in him, Mark.
Yeah.
But he already has these... He has these reservations about Helena, that he's like, I don't know, this is all a bit sus, girls.
This is what I have written down here. What has Helly really done that's made Irving paranoid? Night gardeners. That seems to be the thing he's clinging on to. Why does he know that that's not a thing?
True.
You know?
Yeah, true. I do just wonder if he's a bit resentful of the fact that she really hasn't shared any information about what she saw outside. And she's kind of clinging to that.
Though.
She has, but like maybe it doesn't satisfy him, I don't think.
I just think it's very... It's the only little bit of doubt I have in the writing.
Yeah.
Where I thought it's very convenient that Irv would pick up on this, because I don't think she's been... Obviously, we all have been like, no, that's definitely Helena. But Irv doesn't see what we see. You know what I mean? He doesn't see the up-close faces, or he doesn't have the theories. You know what I mean? So I find it very convenient that he would just have this theory that Helena's not, because of the night gardener.
Especially because the other two don't really either. Like
don't
Mark,
care.
Mark, there's a glimmer of like some when it seems like they're on a first kiss initially. It seems like there's a glimmer of Dylan isn't suspect at all. But I wonder if he's just kind of using it. But I wonder if he's also has the abacus in his head where he's like, okay, night gardener, a bit weird. She keeps calling me Irving. She never used to do that.
Yeah.
There's a difference in like body language and tone maybe that he's a bit like.
There definitely is.
That it's all just adding, and because he's so sus of everything now, that he's like, and also this was kind of a half-baked theory or something that I saw online about Bert and like maybe how, because obviously when Irv woke up he was banging down Bert's door on the outside.
Yeah.
It seems curious that like we haven't heard any more about that. Like
that was episode 2, wasn't it?
Did Bert know, and Bert was like, don't tell anyone? Because like obviously he didn't offer up that information to Milchick about where he was that night, but Milchick also, probably knew.
Who's Bert's fella?
Yeah.
Why do we know nothing about him? Yeah.
Bit sus. So Irv is going to Dylan. They're wrecked from the climbing because they're still hiking up this mountain. And Irv is saying, Irv gets to Mark then, and he's like, what were you and Helly talking about? And Mark was like, nothing, whatever. Like, it was all chill. And Irv says he doesn't trust her, and he brings back up the night gardener. And he accuses Mark of not being able to be objective about Helly because of his feelings.
He's making goo-goo eyes.
But Mark says his feelings don't have anything to do with anything. And you can tell at this point now, Irv is pissed. Irv is pissed because God knows how long they've been hiking for. Eventually they come across this like dead... Seal? Question mark?
Why would a seal be up that high?
I've seen some dead seals and they have not looked like that.
Where?
Well, I used to walk on the beach a lot as a kid.
Oh, right.
That makes it sound like I did it on my own. I did it with my parents. But just out seeking out sea animals.
Right, okay.
I didn't see a lot of seals. Sorry, I feel like I'm exaggerating about that. I think I've seen a dead seal like twice.
Okay.
But Irv is pissed off. Irv is like, we've been hiking for ages. I'm tired. I'm hungry. And he says, he was like, will we eat the seal? And everyone's a bit like, what the fuck are you on about?
Yeah. So I have written down here that the others think that Lumon wouldn't let anything happen to them. They're always safe because it's Lumon. Do you know what I mean? They can't let anything happen to them. That's what Dylan says, or one of them says.
But yeah, and I get why they still believe that, because there's been so many opportunities where they could have died and been let die, and they haven't let that happen.
Of course. So I think that Irv doesn't think this anymore. I think he's like, no, Lumon is the enemy and they will kill us if they got the chance.
Yeah.
So he's like, maybe we should eat the thing for survival. He's almost become a survivalist.
Yeah, because he says that. He's like, what if there's no food waiting for us? And Dylan says they can't let anything bad happen to them. And then he's talking about, I think this is when they have the argument about... when they're also talking about being outside, and Mark's like, look, I know you had a bad Audi experience, but like...
Yeah, this was interesting.
Chill. And then Irv's like, well, how do you know that? And he's kind of looking at Dylan, because obviously the only person he actually told what happened outside was Dylan. So then he's looking at Dylan. This is where you're seeing like the fissure start to occur, where it's not like the Four Musketeers anymore. Irv's feeling betrayed by Dylan, even though Dylan didn't say anything. Dylan's like blindsided by this because obviously he didn't say anything. Mark is just obviously because Irving hasn't shared it with them. Mark's made the fair assumption that his outside experience was not good.
It's absolutely a fair assumption to make, because when he was asked in episode 1, he was very shady about it. He was like, I don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? It was awful. Or, like, he kind of alludes to that. So I don't think it's unfair of Mark to be like, you obviously had a bad experience.
No, not at all. So there's a lot of tension, and Mr. Milchick turns up because they've finally gotten to this waterfall, which we learn is the tallest waterfall on Earth. Torque waterfall could never, girls.
So, first note, Milchick looks amazing.
No, he looks so slay.
He's so cool.
He looks so amazing. Good. He's all in white. Incredible.
Yeah. He says, this is the tallest waterfall on the planet. Is this to be like, this is the best it gets? That's the biggest and most beautiful thing ever, so don't worry about anything else. Like, is that to lie to them and be like, don't worry about it. Like, this is the best it gets in the world. It's the tallest waterfall. And it's like, isn't it wonderful that Keir got to this place?
Yeah, and you've followed in his footsteps now, and this is what you've seen in all this hard work you've put in.
We know that's not actually that tall of a waterfall.
No.
Do you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure there's one of Sligo was much bigger.
Yeah, like, not good, girls.
No. So I don't understand. Is he telling the truth? Are we not on Earth? Are we not? Do you know what I mean? Are we?
But again, it goes back to that thing of like, is it a construction?
Yeah.
Do you know? Like, is it just something they built or put together? I don't know. Anyway, Irving's like, we're starving. And great Milchick scripting here where he says, I thought the waterfall's grandeur would satiate you.
Yes.
And then there's silence, and then he's like, I'm just teasing. Come up, we're gonna have food. We're gonna have a bunch.
That was interesting though, because I thought that is something Milchick would say.
Oh, I think they obviously had food for them, but I think he was also like, it goes back to your point of, this is the best it is. I think he did genuinely mean that. He was like, surely. And again, I think previously Irv would have been like, gobble, gobble, yum, 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 love this tall waterfall.
Yeah, he would have been.
But
he's changed.
Not anymore.
Yeah, he's just like, well, just give us some fucking food here.
He is a changed man.
Yeah, I thought the next thing was interesting because obviously, you know, they have food or whatever and they're getting almost ready for dinner and they're in their tents. The tents look great, by the way.
Yeah.
Fucking props to Miss Wong.
Yeah.
I presume set them up because
she did a great job. She did orienteering, girls.
Yeah.
She was in the scouts.
She did a fantastic
She was in the brownies and she ran that thing like the military.
Why did Helly visit Irv in the tent? Is she overcompensating?
I think she's overcompensating. I think she's just...
I made you a seal.
I think she's just a bit of a perpetual fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, because I think there's a lot of pressure on her because there's the assumption that she's going to take over from her dad, which we do know his name, but I cannot remember. There's an assumption that she's going to take over there and things keep going wrong. Her innie is like rebellious and she's supposed to be this face of Severance. The innie is trying to offer at any moment. She's having to deal with that.
Yeah.
So they couldn't even like properly launch as the face of Severance. She's now trying to be this sleeper cell spy inside there doing all these bits, but is getting perpetually distracted by the fact that she fancies Mark. I don't know, like, is it a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy of like, she's not ready or capable actually to be CEO, but like she feels this constant need to impress her father and she realises that there is a lot riding on her shoulders because I think there's a presumption that she doesn't have brothers or sisters.
Yeah.
She has to carry on the Egan line. Like she has to prove that she can do this and I think she kind of can't. Like,
I think unfortunately for Helena, she might actually be an okay person deep down.
Yeah.
Because she's not as cold as we think she is or that she portrays because she's obviously into the thought of, well, she's obviously feeling maybe she's a little bit lonely or she wants Mark or she wants to experience that feeling of intimacy with Mark and that's why she's doing all of this. So I think she's not as cold as we maybe think she is. She's just very good at pretending to be very cold.
Yeah. The tents are blue as well, if we're going back to our colour theory. Blue for Audis and blue for cold. Is that what you said?
No, I said go, but yeah, because I was like kind of curious. I was like, I'm almost like an English teacher, like reading a poem, and it's like the curtains were blue. You know that kind of shit.
Yeah. Oh no, that's me now as well.
But I'm now like, does that represent anything?
So yeah, as you mentioned, Helly's gone into Irving's tent, and do you think she looks different as well? Like the hairstyling is different.
She looks different.
It's a curlier curl.
Yeah. It's
I feel like she's doing stuff on the outside. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's so subtle, but I feel like she's trying like different things, and then I wonder if it's like for Mark. Like, it's very interesting.
This is why I think this is one of the best shows ever made, because I think they're like, okay, Helena, this is going to be confusing, so stick with me. Helena wants to come across that she's actually Helly, so she's going to try and make herself look like Helly. So she's overcompensating by being like, would Helly wear it like this, or would she wear it like this? So she's actually done the opposite. She doesn't really look like Helly anymore, because Helly didn't really care that much. Do you know what I mean? I thought the whole thing was quite interesting, but this scene was the first kind of like, oh my God, Britt Lower.
If they're not engraving her Emmy right now, we're wasting our time.
Give her everything.
We are wasting our time.
There is a look at 23 minutes and 13 seconds that I had to rewind and watch 10 times.
Yeah. So
it was fantastic.
It's crazy.
It was terrifying.
Yeah. She makes him the snow seal. He apologises for suggesting eating the seal. Like, she's trying to use this as a moment to like break the ice. And as you said, she's overcompensating. She knows things are weird between her and Irv. So then Irv is like, what did you see when you're outside? Like, just tell me. Like, it's fine. Tell me. And she says, I told you. And he's like, it's okay, it won't change anything, whatever. I can't remember who says that, but it's like, it's okay, it won't change anything. He says it. And there's this moment where, as you said, this terrifying moment where it's like she's thinking about it, is annoyed about having to think about it, is annoyed about this response, is annoyed that he's just not going along with it in the same way that everyone else is.
Yeah.
It's such a subtle change in like the eyebrows subtle. And her it's just so cold. That coldness when Helena is able to be really cold and like, I have to get down to business. This is the mission. I have to remember what I'm here for. It's chilling.
It was amazing. It was, and I rewatched it so many times, and I rewatched it in slow motion and everything. I was like, look at that just subtle change of,
it's crazy.
It's like, this guy's pissed me off now, shut up. But then it goes back. Do you know what I mean? Oh, she's amazing.
And she just says, okay, and leaves the tent. So they're outside, they're having Keir branded marshmallows, which looked so, or they're going to have Keir. There's the implication that they're going to have Keir branded marshmallows. Something about really big square marshmallows. They look so good.
They looked really good.
They looked so delicious. Milchick is reading, I think this is a continuation of the book or like another part of the story. Yes. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really get this. So it was like, again, the story of Dieter in the woods. Keir went back into society basically, and Dieter turned into a tree? Question mark. What did you think was going on here? Because I could not follow this.
I was drunk.
Brilliant. Okay, so that's not good.
I really couldn't. But then when I was sober watching it earlier on, like at like 12 o'clock when I went home, I was like, I don't get this. And I rewinded it, and I was like, I still don't get this. I thought, I was kind of distracted by Miss Huang playing the theremin.
Yeah, she was slaying though.
She was so good at it. Did she have to learn that specifically for the school trip? But I was a little bit confused to the story. Okay, I'm gonna read it back here because thankfully Mashable have done it. So the story of Dieter and Keir is part of the 4th appendix to Lumon's compliance handbook. And the 4th appendix, in the final hours, Keir was like, we cannot have the 4th appendix on the 7th floor. It's banned, right? So in the first story from the 4th appendix, a young Dieter persuades Keir to run away to the woods and live as paupers. During their time in the wilderness, Dieter would often hide in the woods at night to masturbate. Again, I'm going to be honest, I didn't get the masturbation implication at all. Neither did I.
Are we very sheltered?
Innocent or something. But I was like, I didn't. When Helly started laughing at that, I was like, what?
I didn't get that at all. But anyway, one day, Keir tells Dieter they must return home and continue their work at their father's ether mill. In brackets, child labour alert, love that. Dieter protests, then turns into a tree in a fairly gnarly sequence involving his eye popping out and sap pouring from the socket. Keir runs to Woe's hollow waterfall to drown out the sounds of Dieter's suffering. There he meets the temper Woe, described as a gaunt bride, half the height of a natural woman. Instead of allowing him a moment to grieve his brother, Woe tells Keir that his death is your doing, you suffered his wantonness, now he's no one's brother, only chaos's whore. So they are trying to say that Dieter Egan's death is a parable about Lumon's views on work and sex. Okay, that makes more sense now in the context of the episode.
Okay, so they don't want?
Basically, like that just because Dieter keeps pulling the plum off himself. That he chose that instead of his work.
Okay.
And the work is more important than pulling the plum off.
So he's turned into a tree. It's absolutely ridiculous.
This is crazy. What is this show? Oh my God.
But it's one of those things, isn't it, where it's like, some people are like, what's this show? But they never come in during the interesting bits. They'd come in during that and they'd be like, what the fuck is this?
The fuck
I'm like, sorry,
is
it's
this?
not often like this. I don't really know what this is.
Like, there's been comparisons to, like, it's very Cain and Abel. Like, again, I was wondering if the whole idea of him having this twin was to talk about, like, the innies versus the outies, that kind of thing. I don't know. Milchick is like, every word is true. You can tell the rest of some of them are kind of into it, some of them aren't. It kind of seems like initially Dylan and Irv are like, or no, sorry, Mark and Helly start taking the piss out of it. Specifically Helly. Helly's like, okay, so you're telling us this story about this fella that goes off to masturbate in the woods, lol,
Again,
and then he turned into a tree.
Is she overcompensating here?
I think so.
Because shouldn't she be leading by example? Shouldn't she be like, they all should? I don't know. I think it's weird that she's acting up when she's the head of this place that is trying to convince people that this is a really serious thing. It's like, oh God, this is Keir and this is like our Bible.
Again, it goes back to the thing of, is like, oh God, anything to impress Mark, or are we being not smart enough about it, and is this a very deliberate plan to separate Mark from the other two? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And really split them up.
Okay.
Because it works. Because
I'm liking your theory of this is to split them up, because I think you're right. I think all of these little things are to make them, and it kind of works to a point.
So then, as I said, it seems like Dylan and Irv are going to start laughing initially, but then they kind of don't. And Milchick is pissed off. Milchick is like, the team I thought I knew would have processed that more thoughtfully. And then orders Miss Huang to throw all of the marshmallows into the fire.
Yeah.
And Dylan is horrified because obviously he wanted a marshmallow, who wouldn't? And that's when Milchick informs him that marshmallows are for team players, Dylan.
Was this set up? Like, did Helly and Milchick be like, okay, so I'm going to laugh at the fact that they're talking about masturbation and you get annoyed and throw the marshmallows in the fire and go to bed?
Yeah, because again, I think it's like Dylan, if we're to know him previously, like, he loves the perks. Yeah. He loves a perk. What's a better perk than a big fat square marshmallow? You know what I mean? With Keir's face on it after a long, arduous hike up wherever they were. Again, I think there was a feeling that he'd be more pissed off about that, and I'm sure he was, but I feel like even knowing what we know now about the visitation room and stuff like that, I feel like he's kind of like, oh yeah, like, that's annoying, but like nothing to get like really wound up about.
Yeah.
Do you know? So that's what I was kind of thinking. But anyway, Mark and Helly are at Fionnuala's place laughing again still about it, and that's when Irv was like, it's not funny. It's just absolutely not funny.
I don't understand why he's so serious about it.
Yeah.
I know he's just pissed off and he's fighting demons at the moment, but like, why was he specifically like, this isn't funny?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Because he's given up on the whole Keir thing, isn't he? Because in that recap, by the way, that you skipped, they show him with the little vol-au-vent in the book.
Oh, the egg. Yeah. So I think it's the fact that, as he goes on to say, he says, stop making goo-goo eyes at her about Mark and Helly.
Yeah.
I think it's that as well. I think it's the frustration of not knowing what's going on with Bert. I think it's a little bit of jealousy. I don't think it's fully jealousy motivated, but I don't think he'd be as like gobby if it wasn't a case of, geez, the two of them are eye-fucking each other, and to make matters worse, I'm not even sure if that's actually Helly.
Yeah, fair enough.
And he's potentially going to hurt my friend, you know?
That is... That's okay. That's okay to feel that way then.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be angry about that, because your feelings are valid, Irv. I hope you know that.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Irv.
And Helly then says that thing.
Before she even says that, he starts asking like loads and loads of questions, because he's trying to corner her about like, what the fuck did you see outside? What are you on about?
What was the colour of the shirt? And did he have a flashlight? And
he's also saying, he says about Mark using your pupils to make love to her while your outie's wife rots somewhere. Gagged them a little bit with that.
Ooh.
Gagged them a little bit with that.
A bit far there now, Irv.
And Dylan says fuck you, and that's also so then when Irv is like, okay, so it's the three of you against me, perfect, brilliant, that's when Helly says, no, it's okay, we all know Irv's hurt because he can't ever see Bert again.
Helly would never. Never. How dare you?
And then they're kind of just having a diva off at the fire and staring at each other, and Irv's like, right, I'm going to bed, fuck you all. But he doesn't go into his tent. He just kind of wanders off.
He goes for a walk.
He goes for a walk. He's going to blow off steam. And
I have it written here, Mark, I think, is blinded by lust.
oh yeah, he is.
Because I don't think it's love.
Maybe that's why. Do you know when we were talking about the episode last season where he's like looking at her, or last week I should say, and he's looking at her and he has that moment of like where it seems like they're going to kiss each other but they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wonder, is he just trying to grapple with horniness in his own? But then I'm like, if the waffle party is implied that it's essentially like a night of kind of prostitution or whatever, hand stuff. I don't know what they do. Whatever. This is a sex
Hand
sponsored podcast. Like, what? Surely they'd experienced horniness before. It's so weird how trying to figure out what they know and what they don't know, or what they understand and what they don't understand.
Petition to change the name from waffle party to hand stuff party.
Hand stuff party. Maybe it's just the thing as well as like, okay, respectfully at the waffle party, like that is just like sex. That is just like an exchange of sex. But like he feels something for Helly. Like he likes Helly, cares about Helly, and that's why it feels different for him, and that's why he kind of can't get his head around it. And as you said, now is also blinded by lust.
But that's why I think
but
it's
maybe
lust.
a little bit of love.
I don't think it's love because I think the reason I don't think it's love is because if he loved Helly, he would notice that that's not her.
Yeah, true.
Do you know? So I think it's lust.
Big idiot. Why doesn't he see that? He goes
he's
to...
a man, Fionnuala.
I know, honestly. Again, men are all the same, even in Severance. He goes to Helly's tent and they're talking about like, he says something about a carrot and he's like, oh yeah, Deirdre's penis probably turned into a carrot, lol. And Helly's like, yeah, some kind of root vegetable, ha 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 ha. And then he zips up her tent and then I started gnawing at my own hands because I knew what was coming. And she is, again, maybe overcompensating a small bit, but is like, has to jump in here and is like, yeah, that was mean of me, what I said to Irv. Like, it was mean what I said, but she actually says, that was mean of me to say that to Irving, which again, I'm like, Irv. And, you know, Mark is very forgiving of her. He says he can make goo-goo eyes at whoever he wants. And then she says, sorry if I'm distracting you from looking for your wife. And then he says, I know we'll find her and you've already helped so much. Again, that's so like chaste in comparison to whatever feelings he's happening, and respectfully, whatever happens next, hashtag scene missing, hashtag rated R.
Yeah.
You know, like it's very... Does Mark seems to have no feelings about Miss Casey, like in a love way.
This makes me think that
or
this
does
is
he?
pre-reintegration.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it makes... Or maybe reintegration takes a while or something, but... It makes no sense to me. If that's real Mark, why isn't he a little bit like, all right, where's Miss Casey? Let's try find her because that's my wife. And now I know everything. Yeah. Maybe it takes a while for reintegration, I'm not sure. But it didn't seem to it like peaty, do you know?
Yeah. Interesting.
Do you get what I mean by that?
No, I do. I understand. I think it does take a while based on something that happens shortly after they start dicking down, essentially. So she's like, I have. And again, they're literally eye-fucking each other. Yeah. And they start kissing. It's all very whatever. They start to get together. There's those red lights in the tent, or like the heaters, I thought was interesting again, because it's like that contrast of red and blue and like outies and innies and stuff like that.
Oh, very good, yeah.
And I have written down, wasn't much woe in that tent, let me tell you. Hey! That was pathetic. That was pathetic, past Fionnuala. Irv's out and about, he's walking around and he lies down on a rock and he's...
falls.
He falls and he's just like, right, okay, lying down on this rock. Mm-hmm. We're back with Mark and Helly, and this is post-coitus.
I don't.
And she says, I didn't like who I was on the outside. I was ashamed. And that's when Mark says, I don't care who you are out there. I care who you are with me. Right?
Do you think she's being fake here when she says that?
No, I don't think she is.
Does she, as Helena, go, honestly, I really am ashamed?
No, I think she's ashamed.
Do you think she's ashamed as Helena? She's ashamed of who Helena is?
Yeah. I think she is.
Wow. That's a big moment for her.
I think she is.
Big moment for her.
Maybe she hasn't always been up to this point, but I think, now she's like, what the fuck am I doing? Because I think she's starting to care for Mark.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you reconcile those two things? You know, like it's a lot. So he's like, I don't care. We're together, it's fine. They start to go for round 2 and he starts seeing Gemma/Miss Casey on Helly's body, which then let's talk about the reintegration of it all, as you've said, right? This leads me to believe that this is either the point where the reintegration No, it wouldn't have been because sure no, sorry, I'm getting confused now. Sorry, this show is very confusing. So obviously, Outie Mark is still Innie Mark, and when Outie Mark is getting reintegrated, like Innie Mark is shut off. So this leads me to believe that this is after reintegration, but it does take longer than we maybe assumed previously.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my thought about this. I don't know, but I've written down, is seeing Gemma / Miss Casey Mark's reintegration, or is it him having a significant moment in his life? So Innie Mark has never had sex before. And Outie Mark, the last...
Well, not that we know with the waffle party, but yeah.
That's true. That is true, actually. I didn't think about that. But I thought if this was Innie Mark's, losing his virginity, basically, the last person he presumably had sex with was Gemma.
Okay.
So is that why it's kind of clicking in, as opposed to the reintegration?
As in, like, that the two events are kind of lining.
Yeah, because it's such a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong.
No, but then that would bring me back to the reintegration thing, where it's like if all the memories or like all the parts of yourself have to like line up in the way that those sound, the waves had to.
Yeah. You see, my point is...
Is it those memories kind of linking, but in a way that they should... Do you know what I mean? Because it's...
If Innie Mark eats a Tato crisp, right, for the very first time, and Outie Mark loves Tato crisps,
yeah,
eats them all the time, when Innie Mark has his very first Tato crisp, is he going to be a little bit like, hey, that something's clicked here?
Yeah.
Because it's the last time he's done it was on the outside.
Yeah.
Which is why it also could work that they have all different Lumon food in the vending machine.
So it doesn't trigger any memories. That's so interesting.
That could be cool.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think you're onto something there. We're back with Irv. Irv wakes up. He's in a suit though. He's in his suit. He's in his usual work attire. But it seems like he's in a different place. The vibe is different. It's very misty, foggy, and he stumbles upon the office. He finds himself at the office, but it's amongst this field of brambles and wood, right? And the computer is covered in flies as if it's been there for ages.
Which are like bats.
Yeah.
They're not real flies.
Oh, are they not?
They're flapping, which I thought was weird because I was like, that's not a sound of a fly. It's a sound of a bird or something. But when we get closer, I think they're bats. They're like little mini bats.
He is working on a file called the Montauk file, which maybe we'll talk about it now. Have you heard about the Montauk experiment in the States?
No.
It's like a big conspiracy theory that basically people were being experimented on. I think it's called the Montauk Project, actually.
Okay.
And it's a conspiracy theory that alleges there were a series of United States government projects conducted at Camp Hero or Montauk Air Force Station in Montauk for the purpose of developing psychological warfare techniques and exotic research, including time travel. But basically, some of the other like torture methods were around working with people's memories and stuff and getting them to like forget or remember specific things. Maybe we'll come back to that. Maybe we'll revisit that at another point. But I didn't cop that. Again, I saw TikTok about it.
Okay, interesting.
Hence why I learned that. He's working on a file called the Montauk file. And Bert is there. Yay, Bert is back.
Bert's looking a bit creepy.
Bert's not looking well. Bert is not looking well, girls. He's there at the desk. He pulls down the cover that they have. They're like desk shades. And then he pulls it back up. And then who else is there? Only bloody Lady Woe. Here she is, typing at the computer, bashing away.
The Gaunt Bride.
The Gaunt Bride. And she's tapping away. And the typing continues even when she stops.
Do you notice where she's sitting?
She's sitting in Helly's seat.
Helly's seat.
She's sitting in Helly's seat. I actually didn't realise that until right now.
So I said the Gaunt Bride is sitting in Helly's chair and she's half the size of a regular person.
Yeah.
Of a natural woman. Is that what was said in the episode?
Yeah.
And he starts to look at his screen, doesn't he?
And all the numbers are starting to look scary. Now, interestingly, there are no 8s and there are no 9s.
Okay.
Which apparently is significant because if we're looking at the lineage of Keir, your man that is currently head of Lumon is number 8, and Helly is technically number 9.
I thought there was a lot of E's and A's and G's and N's and S's.
Yes. I think initially it was numbers and then they changed to letters. Okay. Because when this happened and when what we learned after happens, basically, spoiler alert, everyone listening has obviously all watched, but like it is confirmed that it's Helen on the outside. And Irv cops that. When we saw that on screen, I was like, obviously Irv knew it wasn't like real Helly or whatever, but like how did she know she was an Egan? Basically, if you go back and rewatch that clip, the screen, like the numbers form into a face that looks like Helly's. I didn't notice this either. Someone said in the
but I went
Severance
back to
group
watch it and I
chat.
still didn't notice it.
I'll send you the screenshot and I'll attach it in the post for any of the patrons.
Very subtle anyway.
Very subtle. But as you said, they all start to spell out Egan.
Yeah.
So that's why he's able to put it together. Because when it happened, I was like, God, that's a bit of a jump. But then when thankfully a listener said it to me, I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Speaking of jump.
The Bride. Oh,
fuck.
This whole thing is like a horror movie. It's shot like horror. It's so good.
It was brilliant. But when that gaunt bride just appears next to Irv, and I literally went, ah!
No, it's...
And I had to look around my house to be like, there's no one there, right? That was embarrassing.
It's very scary.
Terrifying.
Yeah, I loved how this was all shot. It was just very, very freaky, very
creepy.
A lot of vibes.
I loved it. It was like experiencing a nightmare myself.
Yeah, honestly, it was a lot.
I was tense and I was, yeah. Anyway, he wakes up.
He does wake up. And we realised he was dreaming because we're kind of like, is he hallucinating? Whatever, is he dead? I was worried.
I thought he was dead too.
I was worried. The Irv girls were worried.
And this is why I thought maybe you were right in your is this a simulation theory? Because how the fuck did he not freeze to death?
I know.
Do you know?
They can't let him die though. They just can't.
They can't. But also,
it's too controlled an environment.
But is it though? That's what I'm saying. Like they brought them out into this place where I'm like, things can go bad here. Why do this? Milchick is ages away. Like, and Milchick we're kind of looking at as the teacher. He's the guide. He's the person who's looking after him. Yeah. He's so I don't understand
there
how they
is
let him go away.
A theory around sleep, right? That I'm not really sure. I've seen a couple of TikToks about it that were saying basically Irving didn't go back to the tent. I think I sent it to you. Irving didn't go back to the tent because the tents block dreams. I'm not really sure I buy fully into that because again, there's the assumption that this is the Innie's first experience of sleep.
Yeah,
except for Irv because he keeps fucking nodding off in work. Is that... Like, I'm wondering, is there a way where the innies and the outies are able to communicate to each other through dreams? And outie Irv is like staying up all night and drinking loads of coffee and painting all the time to try and get through to Innie to get kind of messages back and forth in a way.
Wow, I love this theory.
I think there's something there, but I haven't fully cracked the code on it to explain it more properly than that. But I think there's something, I think it makes a lot of sense. That that's the only way.
And it would make sense as to why Innie Irv is nodding off is because outie Irv is not letting him sleep.
Yeah.
And he's not sleeping at all. So of course when he comes to work he's probably wrecked.
Yeah. Mark wakes up, he's looking for Helly and he goes outside and then Dylan is also like, there's a bit of a scramble or whatever because Dylan's like, oh, Irv actually never came back.
Yeah. And Helly's gone too.
And like Mark calls for Helly, but he didn't call for Irv, which kind of made me sad.
Yeah.
Milchick arrives, and Milchick is like, "What the fuck is going on?" And they're like, "Yeah, Helly's not here, and Irv's not here."
But Helly goes to Woe's Hollow.
Yes, Helly's gone to look at the waterfall.
She went to that because that's where Keir was.
Yeah.
So she gets solace from that waterfall.
I think so.
Because she believes in this whole thing.
Yeah.
If she believes in this whole thing, why was she laughing at the masturbating story?
Again, I think it's the acting. I think she is having a bit of a crisis of faith in a way that like it's kind of similar to the way Miss Cobell is to a degree, but in a different way.
She gets something from this waterfall. She's smiling and looking at it. She's like, there he was, there he stood.
She's loving it. She's absolutely loving it. Irv's, this is one of the other reasons why I think Irv might be reintegrated. Irv is able to track her to the waterfall. It's giving army. It's giving, and as we'll see later, lots of other army things as well. Irv meets her there and he's like, yeah, I slept outside. I almost froze to death. And that's when he delivers this. What you said to me last night was cruel. Helly was never cruel.
Yeah.
And he starts calling for Milchick. He grabs her. And we know what's about to happen.
Yes.
He about to drown a bitch.
Yeah.
He about to drown a bitch.
Right before this, you know what Drunk David wrote down?
Well, I don't.
He's obviously, he was
living, girls.
Drunk David was really coming into something here. Has Helly always called Irva Irving? 40 minutes into the fucking episode.
Wait, is that Helly? Perfect. Brilliant.
So yes, this massive moment, that the kind of thing that we were waiting for the entire episode, for something to happen. We were told, you said to me, episode 4 is supposed to be the one where we go, do you know?
And I did. I went,
but I wasn't up until this point.
Okay.
I was kind of like, it's fine. It's a bit bizarre that it's outside. But I'm not like, this is
you weren't gagging.
There's so many answers. Do you know? I wasn't like that. I was a little bit more like, now I've fucking more questions. This is a show of questions.
It is a show of questions.
But then he grabs her. Oh God, what a scene.
He grabs her. He essentially starts to waterboard her. He's threatening to drown her. He says, because they are at the top of the cliff now, realising that they're down there, and Irv is like, I'm going to drown her if you don't switch her back. Switch her back. This isn't Helly. It's her outie. She's an Egan. Mark and Dylan are obviously like, what the fuck? What's going on? This is demented. And Helly isn't really saying anything yet until, again, Irv is demanding. He's like, switch her back, switch her back. And she says, God damn it, Seth, do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
And he turns off the Glasgow block.
He says, remove the Glasgow block now.
When she said Seth, I went, yes!
I know.
Yes! I was clapping at the telly.
I needed the confirmation. I just needed to know. I needed to know definitively.
I'm just so happy. I know it took us 4 episodes and we were like, is it? You know what I mean? Now I want to go back knowing it's Ella. Do you know? I
want to pick up on like all of Britt Lauer's little things.
But I thought this is interesting because when, you know, she's about to drown and she wakes up, the last time she was an innie was...
She was on stage.
She was on stage.
At that how
she gets tackled by Cobell.
Yeah.
And then now she's being drowned.
It's a lot, girls. If you go back and watch when they did the overtime contingency and they're in the security room, Glasgow is one of the words on. Do you know the way the instructions like made no fucking sense?
On what?
Glasgow is one of the words on the.
Yes, yeah.
It's like there's like Beehive, Glasgow, a couple of other ones, whatever. So obviously Helly wakes up. Irv is immediately like switches. He's actually like nice. He's like caring for her. He's like, you're okay, whatever. She obviously is like, what is happening? What is going on?
I'm so sorry, Helly.
Mark has come down and he's like, it's all okay. Milchick's obviously like, okay, you've tried to kill someone at work, so you're immediately and permanently dismissed. And Dylan's like, I'm sorry, I should have known, I should have believed you, whatever. We're kind of getting no response from Mark. Mark is uncomforting Helly.
This is what I think, where, you know, you were saying at the start, we were like, they wanted to split them all up. This is that plan not working.
Yeah.
Because of what Irv has done.
Yeah.
And I thought, well done, Irv.
Yeah. He seems to be at peace though. He's like, okay, I'm gone, happy enough, whatever. He's walking away. And when Dylan's like, I'm sorry, I should have believed you or whatever, or he apologises to Irv, he says, yeah, no, it's grand. Look, and don't forget, hang in there.
Hang in there,
which is obviously a reference to the poster.
That Dylan's on in the break room.
That references the OTC. So he says that Irv and Milchick are kind of having a diva off again, staring off at each other. And that's when Milchick is like, yeah, like this is going to be like you never existed. Yeah.
I have written down here, can Milchick get rid of memories of Irv?
They must be able
Mark
to.
Mark and Helly. And
from them?
From them. Because he said this would be like you never existed.
Oh no.
Do you know?
David, that has me worried.
Sorry.
I need them to remember him. I'll always remember Irving B, let the record show. They must be able to, but I don't know how. Or can they? I don't know. But anyway, he's gone and the episode ends on him basically. Milchick's like, yeah, you can shut him off now or whatever. And it ends with him essentially going back, question mark. But that's what leads me to believe again that they're not actually in an ice at fucking Disney on Ice or whatever. Like that they didn't get out here over there. You know what I mean? Out here.
Why would they shut him off when he's around them?
Yeah. I don't know.
He was like, I thought that was a bit weird, to be honest. So maybe you're right. Maybe it is a controlled environment. Do you want to hear my takeaways?
Absolutely.
How can we just go back to the office now?
I know, this is demented.
Fuming. One of them was, can Milchick get rid of memories of Irv from Helly and Mark and Dylan? Why bring them out there in the first place? Obviously, because, as I said, it's dangerous. And then there's this one. Is Helena going to give birth to the very first innie child?
Yeah.
But if we go back to season 1, there is a clip of Natalie on the news debating with someone. I
remember this clip, but I didn't remember that it was Natalie. So it's so interesting to watch it back and be like, oh, you are really like...
Yeah, you're Natalie. It's you.
She does every job.
She's PR.
Yeah.
And so she is on the news debating and
they're debating about Severance and he's putting it to her. He's like...
That woman.
What about the woman that got pregnant?
After a month of working.
After a month of working there, but has no recollection of has not had sex outside. It was her innie. And Natalie's very able to deflect and say, well, if she wants to reveal her identity, she can. Yeah. Seems like a fantastical story. And then they get caught up around the language around innies and stuff like that. And I think there was something else about innies getting pregnant or whatever. because this is the thing. God, imagine you have sex the first time and you get pregnant immediately. Like, they're just bad odds. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Seems like could be what's happening to me. But do you think that's was that actually their wider plan then? I kind of don't think so. I think they've just kind of had a bit of an oopsie here, and Helly let her horniness get to her, or Helena let her horniness get to her.
But you don't think that we're about to have a severed baby?
No, I do. I think probably the way they're going to it is that she does end up pregnant, but I don't think it was planned.
Right.
Do you know?
By Helly or by Helena?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was planned either.
Because I think it makes it so much. I think with any other, I think they've been able to like wash away or like cover up any other employee, but Mark seems to be important to whatever the fuck they're doing.
Yes.
So this complicates things.
That's true. But I do agree with you. I do think Helena was just wanted her bit, and she wanted to experience, you know, being loved or being, you know what I mean? Because I feel like she, on the outside, she's just so focused on work and being that person, her career. She's a career girly, you know what I mean? And that's great, but maybe she's not experiencing love, or maybe she doesn't, you know what I mean? She doesn't have anyone to share her life with.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why she's a little bit infatuated by Mark.
Yeah. Stephanie actually sent in a really good theory that kind of ties into all this that I want to read out. So my current theory is that Gemma was severed as a baby and was always going to be the subject of some sort of Lumon experiment. Miss Selvig is an indoctrinated Lumon / Keir lover and was designated to be watched was designated to watch over Gemma from a distance, or else was her nanny or something as a child. So has developed a caring / loving / protective feeling for Gemma. So Gemma's outie was allowed to live her life as normal until Lumon decided it was time for the experiment to start, and they staged her death. And then she started living as an innie. I also feel like Lumon had some hand in her not being able to have children, because that would have messed up the plan for the experiment. The last clip from the first episode is Mark S working on his computer and putting the numbers in the bin thing, and then it just cuts to a file with Gemma as the subject. I also feel that Miss Cobell 1000% is related to Mark or Gemma's outie. In the first scene of the second Miss Cobell is like to Helena, "This cost me dearly, I deserve an apology," and then Helena is like, "You proved your loyalty." I think someone else also said something about maybe Miss Huang being like the first severed baby or something. Where did I have that? Who sent that to me? I probably won't be able to find it now, classic, but a lot going on. A lot going on.
That's a really good theory. I like it. Here's my question to you, and it's one that you probably want to think about. You get one question to ask Ben Stiller, and he'll give you the answer. What are you asking?
Was Gemma's death cover up? Because obviously that's my current theory, that the death was cover up. He has said, so I think they've said that, like, in terms of questions that are definitely going to be answered by the end of season 2, we will know what the story is with the goats.
Okay.
So we will get an answer there.
That's
in terms of everything else, I don't really know. What would you ask Ben Stiller?
I think I would ask him, is that Mark's wife, Gemma, or is it just a body? Is it just a, is it...
Is it what they've done to, all the robots, I was about to say Muppets, the puppets that were pointing and everything?
Yes. Is it one of them?
Is that just what they've done to Miss Casey? And that's why she's so fucking weird, because they haven't fully put her brain together.
Yeah. And the clones we saw, the twins we saw, the puppets we saw on the thing, I bet they had no brains either, because all they did was point.
Yeah.
Do you know?
They didn't do anything else.
God, yeah, great episode. More questions than answers, unfortunately.
Did you think this? I'm seeing a lot of criticism around the episode, calling it a bit filler and a bit slow. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, I absolutely don't. So let's have an argument.
I thought up until the point of Irv drowning Helena, I thought this is quite filler. This is giving us lore about Lumon that we don't need. And I also was just a bit uneasy because we were outside in this mountainous, snowy area. And I was like, why are we here? What's going on? Also, I thought maybe if do you remember in episode 1 of season 2, Milkshake says, "Oh, you're basically famous now." Like this was you were in a parade of people.
Yeah.
Would they not be a little bit like, "Oh, we're on the outside. Let's go see how famous we are"?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I thought maybe a little bit filler until that moment, and then I thought this is amazing television.
Yeah.
Go on.
It's so good.
Argue.
I don't, yes, it doesn't answer a lot of questions, but I do feel like we've 5 or 6 more episodes of the show. So I am let everyone calm our tatas respectfully with that. I think the lore of I think we're more to grips as to what Lumon is doing. Potentially, I think the implication of sex and recreation and what they're doing, it feeds into what the wider purpose of the company. Like, I think it goes back to, I think we talked about it either in the last episode or one of the first episodes, about them wanting to create this like master race or master workforce that is perfect and like the perfect person to undertake the work that they are doing. And I think that kind of speaks to maybe...
But why didn't we know this? Why didn't we know Keir had a brother? Why was that hidden from them? And now...
Because again, I think it's the thing of they're trying to show that like Dieter is the like... That in some ways that they are showing like Dieter qualities in... And
you shouldn't be like Dieter.
Yeah.
Because you will...
Like in some ways I think was Milchek trying to like get Mark to be like, stop, don't get with Helly. Stop trying to get with Helly.
That wouldn't make
And then
sense.
Helly was like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I don't really know.
I also I have a question about like about the last 4 episodes where
Brilliant.
we've seen Helena.
I have a really good podcast you should listen to.
Where we've seen Helena, and I'm like, you know, when if she's ever talking to Milchik,
yeah,
I wonder, are they a little bit like, I'm your boss? And or is Milchik a little bit like, she's my boss, but I have to talk to her like she's a piece of shit?
Oh, 100%. I think he doesn't know what the hell to do.
It's such a bizarre dynamic. But yeah.
Oh, I actually have another. Someone agrees with you in the chat. Sork said, this is my least favourite episode so far. I hate when writers use dream sequences for characters to come to realisation. I think it's a bit lazy. Unless it transpires that Irv's outie was trying to send him a message somehow, which kind of ties into what I was saying. They also could have dragged the whole is it Helly/Helena thing for the whole season, so I'm glad that's been wrapped up. I agree with that.
Same.
Kate said, so freaked out by those weird twins. I was wondering why they didn't just switch Irv back to his outie when he was attacking Helena instead of switching her. I suppose they wouldn't have known what outie Irv would do. That does beg the question, like, what the fuck are they going to do? Like, now that Innie Helly's back, she still wants to get the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to cause them 100 more problems, no?
I would agree, yeah. I like the thought of why didn't they turn Irv off? But a desperation, I suppose. It's just, shit, what do we do? And he was the one calling the shots here. He was like, turn her back to Helly.
Yeah. Yeah, Sinead said, I really thought Mark's reintegration would be more severe than very, very mildly gradual. Innie Mark still seemed to still be Innie Mark and not an amalgamation of Innie and Outie. That goes back to the whole thing of them, I don't think we mentioned it, but like them being really impressed by fire.
Yeah.
When they have like fire at the tents. Oh, it's all the drama, Mick. I just love it.
Love it.
What do we reckon is going to happen next episode?
I want to be back in the office with Helly. I want to talk to Helly and I want her to say, oh yeah, I'm actually fucking an Egan.
Yeah.
Not fucking an Egan. She is an Egan.
She ain't fucking an Egan. She's fucking a Mark. She's fucking a Mark.
A Scout. It is Mark Scout, isn't it?
It is.
So yeah, I want her to talk about that. But maybe there isn't much to talk about because Irv was the one who was like, she's an Egan.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I think we're going to be with Mark on the outside, and I think reintegration is going to be fucking him up a small bit. A small bit or a laddie bit.
Yeah, I'm like, let's get back to Regabi, please, because I need Mark to start figuring out some shit.
Yeah.
As you said, we've only got 6 episodes left.
I'm so scared, girls. I'm so scared. David, thank you so much. What a pleasure as always. Thank you, listeners. Please send out any more theories you have. It's at flapculture_pod on social media and helloflapculture@gmail.com, or share them in the Severance group chat on Patreon. We're reading them all. I'm loving being in there. I'm loving sending the TikToks to you and to David. David's going to block me. I can't wait.
I love them. This has been SevHeads. We will be back next week with another episode where we'll be recapping episode 5 of Severance season 2. Until then, good luck. Bye bye.